Hello, Austin County. Today I am in the living room with Dr. Sonja Swiger, and she is one of the extension specialists, and I'm going to let her give you all of her information because she's well qualified.
Hi. Well, thank you for having me here today. I'm Sonja Swiger. I'm an entomologist with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, and I specialize in livestock and entomology and medical entomology.
Wow. Yeah, that was the list was long, so I just let her do it. And basically, you're here to talk to us today about the new World Screwworm.
Yes.
And that is something that, we've written about a little bit, but having somebody to give us some information, better information, I guess, on boots on the ground information.
Right.
Is better. Okay, so I guess we'll just jump right into it. But before we do that, tell us a little bit about yourself. I didn't ask you that.
Okay. So I've been with AgriLife Extension for 17 and a half years. Like I said, I do livestock entomology, mostly medical entomology. So I specialize in biting flies and other insects and critters that want to attack cattle and people. When I'm not working, which is not often, I do have 4 kids that are now all teenagers and keep me very busy in all their sports. So, and one's an A&M right now. So,
okay,
they would say I'm not quite a myself, but my kid is. So.
Okay, we're non whatever here because we have our county judge, and he had an A&M thing. I telling everybody, I said we're not partial to anybody here. We're neutral. All right. So, for those who are unfamiliar, as I was before I began this, what is the New World Screwworm, and why is it a serious threat?
Yeah, so it is kind of a unique fly, so to speak, because it is a parasitic blowfly. And when we think of blowflies, normally they're actually beneficial because they actually lay eggs in dead, rotting material.
Oh, okay.
And help clean that up for us. But the New World Screwworm is very different because it chooses to lay its eggs on living animals that have wounds, and then those larvae will eat the flesh of that animal. And if untreated, those animals will die from those infections.
Okay, so it's one of those things. I'm going to use my big medical word here. So one set eats necrotic flesh.
Correct.
And the other one eats living flesh.
Yes. And thankfully, this is the only one we have in the Americas, and we eradicated it over 50 years ago, but it is starting to come back. Unfortunately, it has left that eradicated area in which we had it down past into Panama and made its way back up into Central America and Mexico.
I was going to say, unfortunately, everything seems to come back.
Yeah, sometimes that does happen.
Okay, you said that they reemerged here in 2025. Do you have any idea why? Was it from shipping animals, or did they just fly on over?
So again, as I was saying, we did eradicate them down to Panama, and we have held them there for over 20 plus years. And then we've also kept them out of the United States for over 50 years. What I've heard is that there may have been some lack of control. I don't want to say it in a bad way, but there were just things that got messed up after COVID. So their lack of supplies, lack of employees, a lot of movement through that area of Panama that disrupted our program in not a good way, unfortunately. And all of that kind of just made this perfect storm, and unfortunately allowed for this fly to get back forward movement up into Central America and even Mexico. And these are all great habitats for it because it was a naturally found species in these tropical regions of the Americas.
Okay, so it's kind of like information. It doesn't stay in one place.
Yeah, I mean, we can only do so much with insects, and, we've done a really great job with this one, but unfortunately there were just some things that went wrong, and it went really wrong.
Okay, well, and, it happens. Okay, so like we own livestock. Yeah. And so for, as me as a livestock owner, what are some of the things that I need to look for or do to kind of help mitigate that? Can I do anything, or do I just need to watch and report?
Right. I mean, that's a big part of it, is watching and reporting. And that's really the first step we want to do. So what I usually tell folks, since my job is education, it is education. That's my first step, is to learn what this fly is and the impact it had. And understand that the impact is severe. So it's like some people want to just we're just talking about no big deal. No, this is a big one. There's a reason we eradicated it in the first place. But as an owner, I wouldn't say drastic measures need to be taken yet if you own livestock, but you should be prepared. You should start learning about the fly, understanding what is expected to potentially happen if it returns. Hopefully it doesn't get back into Texas. But we've been telling people to pretty much just get prepared with inspections, because most cattle are not really prepared to be inspected anymore, right? I mean, oftentimes we go out and really inspect our cattle, and it's not something you can do from a truck. You have to literally get out, touch their bodies, look at every little crevice and look for wounds, because fly larvae are really tiny, especially at first. And then if you do see anything, you got to report it. I mean, and not that nobody likes to hear that, right? Because that does require calling the government in a sense, right? Calling Texas Animal Health Commission, but we're all here to help because if we don't report it, it hurts us all. Right. So it doesn't help you to not, and it doesn't help your neighbor to not, and everybody's got to work together to get this fly under control.
I was just saying, what's bad too is I know having cattle, there are flies everywhere.
Oh, yes.
Constantly. So it's one of those things, call your cowboy, put him through the chute, take a look at him.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's what you're going to probably end up having to do. Because, again, most animals are not going to let you walk on up and start, doing what you're doing. They're going to be like, hey, what are you up to? And so you're going to need to put them in a chute.
Even your house cats don't like
Yeah, I got one like that too. Don't worry.
Okay, so say I have a cow, and I've noticed there's a wound on it.
Yes.
But I'm not sure what's going on. What am I going to see? Yeah. What am I going to notice?
Well, if you do have a wound and there are flies present in the wound, you're going to see them, right? Okay. And I will want to point out that we do sometimes see wounds infested with maggots right now that are not screwworms. So there are other species of blowflies that if that wound has not been treated to in a decent amount of time, as you called it, necrotic, and it gets into a necrotic state, other blowflies will lay their eggs on it. So you can find animals that are living with maggots in them. They still need to be reported. Because two reasons, like I usually tell people. One, the animal shouldn't have maggots on its body.
Well, true.
Whether it's screwworms or not.
Doesn't matter what.
You need a vet to come help you take care of that. But submitting them just allows, us to keep records and keep track and to triple check that, yes, this is not New World Screwworm. It's just another blowfly species. So if you are seeing wounds, you want to get in there, check, make sure there's nothing there. And the big thing is you want to seal it. So, as what you would do with like a veterinarian would suggest, put some type of a spray over it that seals that wound, gives it time to heal so that flies can't lay their eggs in there.
Right.
So,
okay. So it's that old thing of, even if you're not sure what it is, better to report it and have them say, no problem, then and something happened.
And it's really something we've always supposed to be doing, but like everything else, well, I'm busy and it's not a big deal because we hadn't dealt with this one in a long time. The one that actually does kill the animals. The others have just been kind of like, I'll tend to it myself, but it really should be reported.
Okay, and we're going to give information. We're going to link it down below of where to report and how to report.
Yes.
We're going to get that all from Dr. Swiger, excuse me. So we'll have that. All right, so this kind of goes into the report it. Who do I call first to report? Okay, I got my little bull Steve out there. He's got a wound. He's got what looks like maggots. What do I do now besides freak out?
Right. Well, who you call first might be up to you. Might be your husband. Might be another significant other. If you choose to call someone like that, a close relative. But ultimately, you have to get a hold of Texas Animal Health Commission. Okay. So who you call first is really what your decision, but it should be in a timely fashion. Let's put it that way. Within a few hours, you would want to be calling maybe your veterinarian. I know the vet needs to be included, and definitely Texas Animal Health Commission. And as AgriLife, Texas A&M AgriLife, we're here to help. So you can even call your county extension agent if you know them better. So what we are hoping to do is that you at least know someone that you trust and feel comfortable with, call them, and then we'll assist you in that route. So if you want to call AgriLife first, extension agent goes out, helps you. Just the key part is don't let that animal loose. Well, that's what I've been telling people. Keep them close by. So that you get those larvae collected. And if you're really just not sure, then start making those phone calls and let them kind of direct you in which way, because the key thing is to get the larva for two purposes. One, the animal needs treatment. And two, if it is screwworms, we really have to know so we can get things rolling in that direction.
Right. Because I was just saying, because you're talking about flies. I mean, they go a long way.
And then once the maggots are collected, they will go through Animal Health Commission for sure. And then they'll decide based on those if they're going to send them out of state to the National Services Laboratory in Iowa for official identification purposes.
Okay. So basically, I see something. I call probably my vet first.
Yeah.
Then the extension agent or A&M AgriLife or something like that. So that's the thing is I need to get 2 phone calls for sure. Yeah. And then, like I said, husband.
And AgriLife doesn't have to be included, but we're there to help you. So again, because some
call
people
AgriLife. I don't want my cows infected.
Right. Some people are just very comfortable with their agents, and I think that's wonderful in our counties. So if you have that connection, call them up, because if they don't know what to do, they're going to call me anyways, and then we'll just work this all out, and we'll get everybody involved that needs to be involved.
Well, and I'm going to give a shout out right now to our AgriLife. We have amazing AgriLife people. We love you all. So give that little atta boy there. All right. So poor Steve, he's got screwworms. How are we going to treat him?
Well, that's where it gets tricky. And that's, of course, why it has to be reported, because first we have to say yes or no. There are some protocols that will be enforced if it is screwworms.
Okay.
Those have not technically gone live yet because we haven't had our first case, right? And those are, yes. And those are being controlled by Texas Animal Health Commission. So controlling would be based on some of that protocol. A lot of it's based off of USDA's playbook that they've come up with and what we'll do. There are products that are now been given basically emergency usage approval. So we would pull those out. They will require your veterinarian. That's another reason why you call that veterinarian, because they're going to need to be there to help to administer that treatment.
Gotcha.
Now, if it ends up not being screwworms, you still kind of want that vet or something, because you're going to need to give them something to kill those larvae.
Right.
If it is screwworms, and really, in my opinion, as an entomologist, any larva, you need to remove them off the body. So there's got to be a little work done, maggot removal. That could be intense, again, depending on the situation. Though you're going to need fly sprays, you're going to need veterinarian, you're going to need some others, probably systemic options. But again, a lot of that is just still, we're kind of waiting to see the official protocol. But we know we need to tend to that animal.
Right. This is the reason I was a school teacher, not any sort of medical, because it's like, talking about removing maggots and stuff. No.
And when I hear real screwworm infestations they're not pleasant at all. So,
okay. Now I know that they have, tell me if I'm correct. They sterilize the male flies so they can't mate with the female flies, and that's how it was eradicated before?
Yeah. So it's a sterilization. It's called sterile insect technology.
Okay.
And what they do is they rear these flies in a laboratory by the millions. And when they hit the pupa stage, they radiate them with cobalt-19. And that basically breaks those chromosomes up that they're needed in order to reproduce. So then they mass release those males into the population where the flies are at, the wild flies as we would refer to them. And then they go off mating and the purpose is to mate with all those wild females. And they basically give them non-viable sperm. So therefore there's no offspring. So
wonderful.
It's a wonderful tool. It works amazingly. And yeah, I mean, I guess that's basically it. So.
I was going to say, because I also saw that the governor had, done a declaration. I can't even talk. The governor had done a declaration, and they opened a sterile fly center somewhere, I think here in Texas.
Yes, it was in Edinburgh, Texas. I actually got to attend that. I was really excited. So.
Wonderful.
But yeah, they did just do the ribbon cutting on their dispersal facility on this Monday. They just past Monday. Now that center will only be available to take pupa that they're growing in Panama. So they'll grow them in Panama still. They'll sterilize them there. They'll ship them up basically on a special plane that they own. They bring them to our location, and then they prep them for dispersal. Cool. So we also now have a sterile facility in the processes. So
wonderful.
In a couple years, it'll take till the end of next year, but we'll have our own functioning facility as well.
But that's neat. Yeah. Okay. Now here's I guess kind of the bad question. If we do become infested, how long does eradication take, or at least slowing them down?
Yeah, that's a tough one. So how I'll answer this is that what we know right now with the current situation, with where it sits in Mexico at this moment and all of Central America, it will be a 10-year battle at this moment.
Wow.
If it continues to grow further in northward and does get into Texas, that will probably extend it past that 10-year battle.
Wow. So this is serious.
It's very serious. The first time they eradicated it took 20 years just to eradicate it out of Mexico alone. And that was just one country out of all the countries.
Wow. Okay. So we talked about cattle and things like that, but what about wildlife?
Yeah.
How does wildlife play into it?
Well, they are a major part of this. The reason why a lot of times we focus cattle is because the cattle are owned, right? You don't see wild cows, right? It's just not part of the situation. So cattle have caretakers. Wildlife do not. So everything we do, while it seems a little overly aggressive in our part, like we have to do so much work on our part, it's also we're protecting the unknown. We're protecting those animals that don't have caretakers. What we've been talking to folks about is that if you do see something suspicious, submit that. Send it in. If you have game cameras, check them a little more frequently than what you probably do. To see if there's a wound of some concern on these animals, because they're going to be hit heavily. And we already know that. We know the deer population was definitely being impacted by these flies back in the 60s and before, when we still had the fly in our country.
Now, is it a particular species that gets hit harder, like your large four-legged animals versus, say, an opossum?
You know, it looks that way.
Okay.
I don't think the flies have a host preference. There's a lot of unknowns with this fly species. One of the reasons is, again, it's been gone for 50 years.
Right.
So anybody, I mean, that's longer than I've been alive, right? So anybody in a certain sense has never had the ability to do research on it. So we don't know if they have a host preference. I think as a fly, because flies are kind of lazy, it's more of that there's so many of you, I'm going to use you. Wow. And there is got to be some correlation to, yes, body size, right? Because cows, lots to choose from there. My host isn't going to die too soon. We do know they don't attack birds frequently. That's a very low percentage, like really low percentage of the population that they attack, because I think birds just aren't their suitable host. So there is some of that. We don't really know all the intricacies of it. But yeah, I mean, what we're seeing is larger animals do tend to have a bit more of an impact status from this fly. And again, we don't really understand that reasoning, but that does put that white-tailed deer and the cattle as the highest on that list.
Maybe because they have more real estate to choose from.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, dogs are high on the list too, but even like in Mexico right now, we're seeing 10,000 cattle to 2,000 dogs. So it's still a pretty good discrepancy, and that's the second highest animal outside of the bovine.
Yeah. I would think real estate.
I mean,
if I had to guess, $10,000 question there.
Exactly. It does make sense. I mean, it really does. But really what it is, it's really newborn animals that we see the largest impact to. And that's why a lot of this is a major concern. And there would be changes needed for, our processes of when we're actually calving, because those flies will attack every newborn that's born. And deer too. So.
Okay, now this is not on your list, but this is a question that I have. Okay, it's called the screwworm, and I looked at the picture, and it's because it looks like it's lower half or whatever has the rings like a screw. Is that
correct? Yeah. Okay. I mean, all blowfly maggots have that same design where they have these they have body segments that are circular in a sense. Well, some have spines and some do not. And the screwworm, the New World screwworm, has some pretty well-defined spination that circulates those body segments. So yes, it looks very much like a screw. Plus they position themselves with their spiracles, which is how they breathe, on the outside, and they basically just kind of force their way down. So back in the day, that looked like a screw, in a sense, screwing itself into the meat. So yeah. Yes, exactly.
Not to be overly dramatic, but is there anything else that you think we need to know?
I mean, we just all need to be aware. Okay. We all need to play a part in it. And even if you don't own cattle, it can be a problem for everybody.
So watch your dogs and cats.
Exactly. They do attack companion animals as well. Again, we know they could get into birds. So, backyard chickens may not be their first host, but still keep an eye on them. Because we have a lot of people backyard chickens. But sheep, goat, horse, it doesn't matter. Possum, raccoon, any warm-blooded animal is at risk, and even humans.
I was just going to say, does that include us?
It does include us. Again, we're lower on the numbers, but it's still a possibility. So if you see something suspicious, you encounter anything, please take those animals in to get checked out if they can be taken in, or call Texas Animal Health Commission or Texas Parks and Wildlife.
So it's watch your pets, and watch your herd animals. That seems to be because that's
the herds of goats. If they end up in the pasture, they're just gonna take advantage to all those animals out there. So yes.
Okay. All right. Any last words?
I think we're good.
We're good? Okay. So all the information that you need to report or find out will be at the bottom linked. And we appreciate you coming. And if there's anything else, please come back and let us know. Keep us informed because, we're agricultural here. And some of us, our life depends on it.
That's right. No, I'm happy to be here. And anytime you want to talk screwworms or any other flies, I do mosquitoes and all those biters. I'm all for it. So.
All right. So she's the bug lady.
Yes.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you for being with us, and we hope you come back. All right, Austin County, everything you need to know about the New World Screwworm will be linked down at the bottom, or you can rewind and watch our podcast. And until next time, keep smiling.